How long have y'all had y'all's team?
About 8 years.
8 years in June. So, yeah.
Your family was in it, right? Or was it your family?
My family.
It's been in the industry for a while. So that's how you kind of started in this?
Yeah. My mom started way back in the day working as a receptionist for Ray Ellison. I don't know if you remember the builder. So she started in the builder world. And then she moved over to the mortgage world and kind of worked her way up and then opened up a mortgage company. So have grown up in it. I ran through the halls of the big Ray Ellison building when I was little.
Second nature for you? Or?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is one of the hardest parts of the real estate transaction is, the mortgage, dealing with the clients, I'm sure is a challenge too. But you guys are the most vital part of the process, obviously. Talk to me about that process. What separates you guys from or your process than anyone else maybe that's out there?
Well, the one thing I like is, I think every part's very important, and everyone has a role to play. So we have, if you think about it, we have a buyer, a seller, buyer's agent, listing agent, title. We have an appraiser, an inspector, and a lender. And we all have to work together to make this a really smooth transaction or just to make it, to complete the transaction. Right. And if someone doesn't pull their weight, then it can really disrupt some things. I've been part of transactions where maybe the seller is having a tough time with something, or maybe the appraisal threw a wrench in the transaction. So, for my part, we obviously, we have to set up the financing and make sure they get into the house. But everyone plays a vital role, and
there's so many moving pieces, right? Like if one person doesn't do their part, it can just disrupt the whole process and the timing of a closing. You guys, I'm sure, experienced that personally.
Yeah.
So, what's your role in the business?
Well, I'm kind of more on the marketing side and business development, but I was a realtor. When I was 23, I got my license, and I have a lot of respect for our real estate partners and builders just because I've been on that side of the fence. Right. And to Andrew's point, we work really as a team with our real estate partners, and that's even with the listing agent. But, 23 years old, and even for the newer agents out there, I didn't realize the importance of a pre-approval letter, right? So, I always tell people I was an Uber driver before Uber was even a thing. I remember I learned a really hard lesson. And, owning your own business, you learn a lot of lessons you redirect. But I didn't take a couple out for like 3 months. I took them out for 3 months. I didn't get them pre-approved.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. And I, in my mind, I'm like, I'll wait. I'm going to get the listing and I'm going to do the sell. Well, we found the perfect house for them. Seemingly, they seemed qualified. They both had great jobs. But
wait, were you paying for all the bills at the restaurant?
Oh, my gosh. I was driving them like no other.
She didn't know me then. She wouldn't have done that.
I know. That's right. But they had busted credit. And, it was really a hard lesson for me to learn because I really set my client up for failure. And I didn't set the expectations initially. And so we really try to tell our real estate partners, like, hey, as soon as you get your buyer or that lead that comes through, like connect us with them so that way we can help set a parameters of expectations, because the financial piece is the vital part of getting to the closing table. And so for me, I learned a hard lesson that step one is let's initiate and bring in the loan officer immediately so we can have a better picture of what the client can afford. But then also I can make sure that I'm not going to really disappoint them with sending them to houses that they can't qualify for. Exactly. Yeah. So, and if people do have busted up credit, there's things that you can do. And so that's one thing that I think Andrew's really great about. But yeah.
But having that experience helps you, especially now in being on this side of the fence with the mortgage industry. And I don't know, I think you guys are facing that task of working with, especially with the rates, the way they are now. You have a harder sell, I guess, to get clients to, the real estate markets, it's so different. It's always changing. And, I think COVID was like one of those, like, hey, everyone's buying houses and, everyone's like,
we got very proud of ourselves during the COVID times. All of us lenders did.
But it does kind of sometimes help weed out some of the bad companies, right, as well. And you learn through those lessons. And then now when you get to the point where it's a little not necessarily challenging, I guess, because I really don't know the history of the real estate market in regards to the rates. But a lot of times people say, well, historically compared to like the 80s, this is still a good rate, but it's just we're so used to this 3% or whatever it was.
And I think
recently.
they went up so fast. That was another thing. Okay. You know what I mean? Like one day we're quoting the low 3s, and all of a sudden, and gradually we're at the 6s by the end of the year. And that's a big jump. So I think that's one thing that affected everybody, because kind of like, man, that's to go that fast, in less than a year to more than double in less than a year it was disruptive to the industry for sure.
And then you add, home valuations were definitely increasing, which not to say San Antonio didn't need, an increase on our property values, but the extent that they did increase over that time frame for COVID, that really on top of rates increasing, and then homeowners insurance rates also increased. And so when, Andrew's putting a deal together, we've got to factor in property taxes. We've got to factor in homeowners insurance. So it's not just
gone up, basically. There's nothing that's
everything's gone up. So
and that's why it's so important. Like, do not use an online lender.
For sure.
Especially somebody that's in a completely different state, because sometimes those people aren't even licensed, one. But then secondly, you don't have that local presence of, like, he knows in different areas of the San Antonio market or Bernie, New Braunfels, whatever it is, the property taxes are going to vary. And that is such a big piece of getting qualified. Or if there's a flood zone, things like that. And I'm sure being a local resource here, you can move so much faster than you would maybe somebody who's, on a different state.
For sure. Yeah. But you'll have a lot of different value options, right? When it comes to the clients, that people that are, I guess, talk to me about, the different programs you got, if it's FHA or different products that you offer as well, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things, I'm excited about, is this total scope of offerings that we have. Obviously we have the classic conventional FHA, VA, which are vital, to anyone buying a home. But, we also have those other products that we help people, whether, maybe they're a bank statement loan. Instead of having to use tax returns to qualify people, we can go off their bank statements. And that's huge. It's a huge difference for people who are self-employed, because they structure their taxes differently to take advantage of some of the tax benefits and tax laws that being self-employed, they could enjoy. So we have bank statement loans. We have loans for investors. We have a buy before you sell, which is a great product we have. And we have
buy before you sell is awesome.
We have a couple other things that, we have a doctor's program, or what I call medical professional program, which not only helps doctors, but helps nurses, which is, I think, a big part of San Antonio. Another, as far being a VA centric community, a lot of military centric, we also have a very substantial healthcare industry, a lot of doctors and nurses. So it's great to have all those. And, we have a really good team, and our job is to get people in the homes and find the right programs. So it's nice to be able to be, to be nimble to go offer whatever loan program you need to help. We even have down payment assistance for people out there, and there's local programs, there's state programs. Wow. There's programs coming out here and there that help.
How do you get all this out to your customer, though? Do you have to, I know you do a good job of doing education, little events for realtors. I guess that would be the number one thing, is kind of making sure they know, I guess, these programs
it starts there.
And then do you use that part of your role also, kind of talking about that? Because that's important. Yeah. People don't know that they have those options, and
she's so good. She does a lot of marketing initiatives on loan programs, but also other ways to help clients. Because you mentioned, yes, it's a little bit harder with interest rates now, so we're having more complex conversations. I just can't send over a worksheet that says, here are your loan terms, right? We got to have more intelligent conversations, more impactful conversations. We got to talk to them about their goals 3, 5, 10 years down the line. We got to help them and say, look, we're going to help you establish and maintain wealth. Hey, I'm getting in the debt because you're buying this big old house or whatever, but we're going to also put together some plans to help you, grow your wealth. And that's where, our team really excels. She helps people lower their tax burden. Wow. Which I think is a huge benefit in this market.
Property taxes.
She's helped countless clients.
Wow. That's all added value. I think most people don't realize or probably don't expect mortgage companies or people to do that. I don't think I've ever heard of mortgage companies that kind of go above and beyond, kind of looking past the transaction, right? Selling your house. And when I bought my house, my first house in 98, I just remember like in 2 years, it got bought out by someone else. And the more, I don't know if that's commonplace in this industry.
That's common,
But it just felt like, it was just interesting. Now, I still had a relationship with the guy that helped me, the mortgage guy, but I guess it's just a part of the nature of the industry. But just having someone that you can call and kind of walk you through that process is important, obviously. So
absolutely,
it's great to know a guy, right?
Yeah. And then your events are great too, like your little marketing strategies, because I know that you guys are catering to the real estate market, obviously, but I think y'all go above and beyond and making sure you're actually helping them, find buyers for their houses. The real estate agents that have their listings, like the lattes and listings that you do.
Yes.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing like I think about when I was an agent were some of my pain points. And, we always say that your lender should be, communicating with you. There should be a high level of communication and they should close you on time. Like that's expected. Where the value comes in for us is that we don't only do that, but we obviously are doing other things that provide value for our buyers, our clients, right? The homeowner, which is like showing them, hey, you need to file your homestead. Hey, by the way, you need to make sure you protest your property taxes. This is how you would do it. Some of the other things that we do that Andrew puts together is we put a really nice booklet together that we give to them at closing that has really important information that you can thumb through versus going back to that really awkward folder that you probably put somewhere that you don't remember. And, all of a sudden you need a survey. So those are the things that we really provide for the homeowner on the real estate side and our realtor partner side, even for our builders and for you. Like we wanted you to be a part of Lattes and Listings because we saw that there was obviously a benefit for you to connect with our real estate partners because they might have a listing that, hey, it needs new flooring or maybe they just need some somebody in your expertise to help them get that closing
it
that
makes
they
sense.
need.
If you have a house that you're trying to list, a lot of times the carpet or flooring is the thing that will make the difference. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's something small, but that's actually a natural, collaboration. And thank you for bringing me into that too. But it is something that we're here to help. We're trying to help our clients and realtors, get houses moving. I think it's just a win-win for everybody, obviously. So that's always good. And the marketing that y'all do is really important. Right? Y'all rely, I'm sure, a lot on word of mouth, but the social media and the branding part of it. I know you're good too at the video marketing. Like we
try to do like a multi-tiered approach. And
we wear a lot of hats, Richard, just like you.
Yes.
Well, you have to, right? You have to kind of adapt.